Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to SBA Prepping and Survival. This is Joe out here at the cabin at St. Bernard Acres. Nice day, windy. So I was asked last night on my live stream to do a overview of my simple rain catchment system here at the cabin. This is a super simple system that works great. I've had zero problems out of this. So what I've got are two 50-gallon olive barrels. I've had these for years. They have worked flawlessly. And they don't have to be painted or anything. They're, no lights getting in there. So I don't have to worry about algae growth or anything. They're connected at the bottom. I bought a couple fittings, drilled a hole through the bottom where this hose connects them. So that as this one fills up, this one fills up. They fill up evenly, they drain evenly. There's no problem. I have a little hole in here. I'll show you some close-ups. And then holes in this one to where all the water goes in. The air escapes over here or enters when it gets lower. And they stay at the same level all the time. Connect them at the bottom, very simple. So with the way this works, all this tape, I forgot to clean this. This is a first flush diverter. I forgot to clean this out a couple winters ago, and it was still full of water, and it cracked. But it doesn't hold water. It's not, no water leaks out of it. No pressure or anything. So the way this works, I have my gutter up there. This is all PVC pipe here. All 3-inch PVC. Didn't need 3-inch, but I had 3-inch because of other projects I'd been working on. So the reason you have to have the first flush diverter is during the days when it's not raining, what collects on your roof? Dirt, dust, debris, leaves, bird poop. Get plenty of bird poop on your roof. So when it starts raining, all of that is washed off of it. What I've got here, that comes into the gutter, comes along down this first pipe, and it goes all the way down this first flush diverter. And there's a cap on the bottom of this over here that I can open up and empty this out after a rainfall, after it gets full. Because the idea behind this is all the bird poop and dirt and dust and debris comes down, goes into this diverter, and this fills up with the rainwater, but all of that debris and bird poop stays at the bottom of this. Then as it fills up with water, then the water is going to come across and down this pipe into the barrels. Much cleaner water. You don't want all that bird poop running off of the roof and going into your water system. That's why you put diverters on these things. And like I said, I can come out here anytime I want, unscrew that cap on the bottom. That diverter empties out, put the cap back on. It's good to go for the next rainfall if you need it. On the other side of this right here, I have drilled another hole, put in a hose bib, and I have a hose. I borrowed the hose off of it. I have a hose going out for the overfill. So once this gets full, then it's going to shoot out. There's my rain catchment. That's how simple this is. I have another hose on the back here that comes out. Damn ants. There's another hose that comes out and goes underneath the cabin to a pump. I got a seaflow pump under there with an accumulator on it, so that, you know, if you just have the pump and that's it, it's an on-demand pump. So when I turn the faucet on, it's like in an RV. When I turn the faucet on, the pump comes on and pumps water to the faucet. Well, if you don't have the accumulator tank on there, which holds pressure and keeps water at a certain pressure, what comes out of the faucet is it pulses, because the pump gets a signal, send water, then it stops, send water, then it stops. Well, the accumulator tank keeps pressurized water there, so that the water coming in the house is out of the tank, and it just has to keep filling the tank. It's a very simple system. Then I have a countertop water filter in there, reverse osmosis water filter, that I plug in. That's how I get my water for drinking and everything. It's that simple, folks. You know, and this is a weekend cabin for me. So I'm not going to be going through thousands of gallons of water. Nobody goes through thousands of gallons of water. I have never run out of water in these things. They've never been dry. So that's how simple you can make it. It ain't pretty, but I'm not trying to be pretty. This is a bug out cabin. I have a water supply. That's the most important thing. Now, I have springs out here that I can develop if I ever need to. But the pump, everything ran off of solar. This is my solar cabin here. All my batteries are in here. The charge controllers, inverters, fuses, everything is in here. And if you remember, this cabin used to be totally on solar. And I had all my solar panels out there. They ran up to this, out of this, into the cabin. That seaflow pump on here is a 12-volt pump. So I have one lithium battery. That battery runs this pump now. Since I've had electric in the cabin for 2 years, I put that lithium battery in the bathroom there and hooked the pump up to it. It's been 2 years. I've never needed to charge it. Because you don't use that much water into lithium ion batteries. They hold the power. But yeah, that's how you get running water in an off-grid cabin. So that's the water part of it. They also ask how I get power to the cabin. I ran electric out here. Now back behind you, 105 feet, I know, is my meter box and disconnect switch for power to the cabin. What I've got, I ran my service panel inside the cabin, a regular 100 amp service panel with 3 circuits, living room, kitchen, and the loft. There's only 3 circuits that I need. That is wired to an RV plug right here. That's what that is, it's an RV plug. Now, with that RV plug, when I had the solar, I came out of the inverter with a cord, an extension cord basically, and ran it to that 30 amp RV receptacle. That powered my service panel, which powered all my circuits. If I didn't have enough power in the batteries, or if I wanted to run the air conditioner, I would come out here, my generator sits in here. I would start the generator, unplug the solar, plug in the generator. I would have power through the generator. That would power my service panel. That was my electric inside. Now that I've run electric, I came out of my disconnect. It has 4 breakers in the disconnect. I took some 10-2 wire, is all that is. Put it in the disconnect switch out there on a 30 amp breaker. Buried that in conduit all the way up to here. And I made an extension cord. I bought a 30 amp plug, put that on that 10-2 wire. So I plugged that in. That powers my service panel. I got electric throughout the cabin, including my air conditioner and everything. Now, if the power goes out, it's real simple to fire up the generator, plug the generator in, unplug the power from the service or the disconnect, unplug that, plug in my generator. I have power. That to me made more sense than trying to put those switch lock things inside the service panel, because I wouldn't want to be running the generator with power when the power company turned power back on, because the generator will feed back through to that and that'll mess stuff up when the power comes back on. So it's very safe and made sense to me just to unplug one, plug the other in. If the power grid goes down, I still have 3,000 watts of solar panels. I set those back up. Everything is in here set up and ready to go. I'm back on solar power again. That's a bug out cabin. That's a survival cabin. Very simple to do. All right, let's see if I can show you a little bit closer what's going on. That's the cap that I unscrew off of the first flush diverter. That'll go up, then run across into the barrel. The barrel has a screen in it. You can see the debris it's caught with some holes drilled in the top. That's where my water collects. That's how simple that is. A hose coming out the back that goes down under the cabin to the pump. That's the 30 amp receptacle I was talking about. Those are the fittings for the hose to connect to. And in here is my generator. The mice have had fun in here during the winter. My batteries. I keep the batteries charged. There's one panel out there that takes care of all of it. But yeah, that's my simple little power room. And everything running along the cabin. So, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope it makes sense to you. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all those kind of things so we can get this channel built up. We'll start having some fun out here. Like I said last night in my live stream on Homestead with Joe channel, I want to start doing a live stream on this channel where we strictly talk prepping and survival. We learn how to do things. But this is such a super simple system anybody can set up. Got any questions, make sure to ask. If you need any more information, drop a comment, let me know. But this is Joe out here at the cabin at St. Bernard Acres. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.